Mastering the ability to handle an out-of-gas scenario calmly and confidently is arguably the most critical skill for any scuba diver. We strongly advocate for the use of a primary donate regulator setup, commonly referred to as the long hose, regardless of your diving style or equipment configuration, whether single back mount, side mount, or back mount doubles. Contrary to popular belief, the Horghartian regulator configuration is not exclusive to technical diving, and no diving agency has ever restricted its use. As a matter of fact, as you advance to more challenging types of diving, this system will become a must. So why not start adopting it now? The key benefit of this configuration is that you donate the regulator you're breathing from, but the hose length also significantly enhances safety in open water, not just in confined spaces like caves or wrecks. Unfortunately, this critical skill is often taught briefly and without sufficient emphasis on its vital aspects, so let's delve into the details to ensure you're fully prepared. The first step of the process is to hand off your long hose, gripping it at the base of the second stage and extending it forward, with the mouthpiece slightly angled downward to avoid free flow. It's crucial never to obstruct the purge button. The second step is to re-establish your own breathing with your necklace regulator, while maintaining constant eye contact with the victim, as you may need to defend yourself at this point. Switching hands and extending your long hose is not considered part of the gas sharing procedure, but is part of the S-drill. When practicing, make sure you mimic the process from start to finish without any deviation. Keep in mind that maintaining eye contact is crucial, and it is never acceptable to lose physical contact with the long hose when it is removed from the diver's mouth, as you don't want this to become a recovery instead. A genuine out-of-gas situation can be deconstructed into two distinct phases, one being considered a critical emergency and the other an inconvenience. The first phase poses equal danger to both the victim and anyone offering help, and it's safe to assume the victim will try to kill you. Adrenaline can turn even the smallest diver into a lethal threat, so never underestimate the danger and protect yourself at all times. Let's take another look at what just happened. In an ideal case, you will have some space between you and the victim. Always let the victim swim to you instead of going in head first. As soon as you notice the emergency, hand off your long hose without hesitation and aim to re-establish your own breathing. By extending the long hose, you create distance between yourself and the panicking victim. However, your left hand is extremely important, as you will need to use it to protect yourself. Never release the second stage until you have established positive eye contact and are sure that the critical emergency has been resolved by providing a reliable gas source. Once you have extended your long hose, backfin slightly to distance yourself. Always communicate your remaining pressure. This provides psychological reassurance and allows you to evaluate the victim's stability by observing their communication style. If the victim is stable, the emergency has been resolved and it is now just an inconvenience. Decide whether you want to surface immediately or make your way back to a reference point before surfacing. For completeness, we demonstrate how to swim with a victim. Once you have decided on the exit direction, you have two options. Place the victim on your left side or your right side. In both cases, it is the victim's responsibility to hold on to the long hose to prevent it from disengaging from the diver's mouth. The donor must take charge of leading the victim by grabbing their arm, positioning it slightly ahead, and leading them, rather than just holding on. When the victim is positioned to the left side of the donor, the long hose should be routed under the right arm and firmly held by the victim. When the victim is positioned to the right side of the donor, the same procedures apply, but the hose should be routed differently. To secure it, the victim should form a loop and route the hose behind their head as with any long hose. Once you're ready to begin your ascent, we strongly advise following standard procedures and not only deploying your DSMB, but also completing all planned stops. In the video, we demonstrate this in relatively shallow water, and the signaling isn't representative of the actual stops, but it illustrates the idea. During the ascent, divers should always face each other and maintain communication. Additionally, note that the long hose is routed under the arm and above the wrist of the donor. This placement ensures that even if your hands are occupied, you can quickly retrieve the hose if the victim loses it for any unfortunate reason, as it will end up hanging over your hand, rather than fully extended somewhere beneath you. Despite the resolution of the emergency, anticipate that the victim may experience stress or disorientation, so assume leadership in guiding the ascent. Ensure that all divers consistently repeat hand signals throughout the ascent to confirm the plan. However, be prepared for the victim to initially struggle to comprehend instructions, so communicate slowly and repeat information as needed until everyone is in sync. Running out of gas is caused by human error 99% of the time, making it completely preventable. It's considered an unlikely event, and it's even more improbable to assume that, while sharing gas, one of the regulators will fail, leaving only one operational. In such a scenario, the practice of buddy breathing becomes necessary. We believe this practice is invaluable as it fosters strong dynamics among team members. The procedure involves the victim holding onto the harness to prevent separation, while the donor establishes a rhythm for passing the hose by visibly counting. The focus should be on establishing a rhythm rather than counting seconds. Frequent switching is essential because the divers will be ascending while sharing gas, and they must exhale instead of holding their breath. Exercise caution, and if practicing this, start at a certain static depth before ascending. Thanks for watching and hope you learned something. Consider subscribing to Flow State Divers to become part of the community of conscious divers and to get notified on our upcoming content.